Hey guys, how you doing? So today we're going to talk about rims and what rims to pick up. As you guys may know, if you've seen previous videos on the channel, I completely destroyed my rim on the sand dunes in Pismo on my last trip. So what I'm going to do is right now I'm going through selecting rims for this specific vehicle. So it will be for any UTVs or any kind of vehicles off-road. The rims are pretty much the same kind of settings that you need to look at. So right here we actually have a rim that is a beadlock. So you have actually a ring that you put on it that actually pinches the tire, and that's what makes it a rim lock, a beadlock. So you have two kinds of actually wheels. You have the regular rim that it's the one that you just put the tire on it. You need to basically use a machine, put the tire on it, and then you're good to go. You put it on your tire, and that's pretty much it. We have the second kind, which is this one, which is the beadlocks, when you can actually just put the rim on it, pinch it with the ring, and then that will allow you to have multiple benefits. One of them is you can actually roll with a lower pressure on your tires. It allows you to be having a lower pressure since it will actually pinch the tire in the rim, and that will actually allow you to do so. Why do you want to do so? When you go, for example, to the sand dunes, when you need to really a bigger surface, or when you're looking into really crawling, you will need to run really low pressure on your tires in order to increase your grip. So what we're going to do is right now, we're going to talk about the kind of rims that I would recommend for your vehicle. So two things, as I mentioned already, beadlocks, not beadlocks. Honestly, for me, because of the fact of the benefit that I have with the beadlock rims, I will probably use a beadlock rim. Now, that would be for example, any rim that you want to have a really positive offset. So now, what is an offset? So this is the thing. When you have a regular rim, forget about the beadlocks. You will have a rim, so you have a space and how large that space is. Usually, the part that you actually attach to your vehicle will be centered in the middle. So if you go and check on your car or check on your truck, you will probably have the part that you attach to your vehicle will be basically in the middle. For that, it will allow you to have a center vehicle as well. Now, the more positive of the offset you get, the more at the end and at the edge on the street side or on the outside will be. So here is a complete positive offset. That's a beadlock. That will actually allow you to have, a tire that will be more tucked into the vehicle as well. Now, if you go for a negative offset, it means that your rim will basically go outside and get on the outside of your vehicle. So if you see your vehicle, you will probably see those tires getting out of the regular shape, the regular shape of the vehicle. So the benefit of that is, for example, if you go to the sand dunes, if you will have more stability. The more the tires are away from the car and larger offset you have, the more your car will be stable. Why? Because the actually point of balance in your car is not centered, is actually more reduced, and your car gains more stability. So it's the same thing when you open your legs, for example, you will gain more stability since your legs are completely open. Now, the more offset and the tires are inside the car, the disadvantage is that your point break of balance will be more center focused, and any fast curve or any fast turn will probably make you fall off or roll over. So what I do recommend is when you go to the dunes, for example, try to get rims that have a negative offset. That will allow you to gain more balance, to have your rear and your front tires outside of the vehicle, and will allow you to actually have a better point of balance in your vehicle, so you can turn faster, you can go faster. Your vehicle will not gonna tip over or not gonna roll over because you have a balance that it's better. Now, if you're looking to go on trails and also as well on crawling or rock climbing, what you will do is you will probably go for some tires like this that will allow you to get in through narrow different trails. That's one of the difficulties as well, is that the larger and the more negative offset you have on your rims, the more your tires are going to pop out of the vehicle, which also means that when you go into really narrow trails, it will be really difficult. So on my Can-Am X3, I have, it's a 72-inch wide Can-Am, which allows me to be pretty balanced. It's already one of the largest, how do you call it? One of the largest already set into the cars. Razor also do them, but the difference is that, and some of the difficulties is some trails are actually do not allow 72-inch wide vehicles to go through because of the fact that those trails are already narrow. So usually they go for the 62 or 68 vehicles that will allow you to go through those narrow trails. So here it's really to take into consideration that if you put rims that are supposed to be for the sand dunes into your vehicle and you put some tires for crawling, or you take that vehicle into a space that it's already going to have narrow trails, it will be really difficult for you to actually go through, because you will have a vehicle that is way too large compared to the road that you're going through. So my advice is always, when you go through the sand, always take rims that will allow you to have a negative offset, so you have a better balance. The trails are usually huge and you don't need to have a narrow vehicle, and it will allow you to basically have that balance in your car and that stability in your car. Now, if you go into trails that are narrow and rock and kind of like rock crawling, I would definitely recommend some, some rims, that have a positive offset. That will allow you to keep the narrowest of your vehicle, but also as well to keep the balance quite well without damaging too much your cars, knowing that you will be able to go through narrow passages as well. So guys, what I will do is for sand, I will take on negative offset rims. But for the trails, what I'm looking at right now, it's definitely going to be some beadlocks. But what I'm going to do there as well is I'm actually thinking of getting, something that's going to be a little bit more sturdy. As we saw on my last video, it did some pretty good damage when I jumped with the Can-Am. So what I'm going to do now is really get some beadlocks that are going to be really stronger than the AOM ones. Or the option 2 is I'm actually thinking of getting, a really negative offset on the car for specifically for sand dunes, and I'm going to put the tires for the sand dunes into those rims and keep the AOM ones that have been working really fine for the regular trails. So guys, let me know on the comments what kind of rims do you use, what rims have you bought that you think are really great, and what has worked for you. If you put in the comments the brand or the kind of offset as well that you use on your different UTV vehicles, I would like to see the examples. So right now that I'm actually trying to select the best rim for my vehicle, it will be great to see the options that you have. Once I actually get them, I will do another video on why did I went for those rims. But right now I need your help. Put in the comments what rims do you recommend and what rims have worked really well for you. The ones that I'm looking for right now would be to probably use for narrow trails or the different trails that we have, so rock crawling and kind of more speed, but something that is actually really fast. So guys, make sure you subscribe, make sure you click on the little bell, and that way you won't miss the next videos coming up. Make sure you share the video so the community can get a little bit bigger, and also put your comments below if you have any of it. To make sure that you recommend rims that you have used in the past that have worked for you, or also as well if you have any recommendation on any new video that we should make. Sounds good, guys. See you next time.